Welcome back and hello if you are new. So thank you so much for tuning in. And this week I'm going to be talking about an experience that I was very lucky to have. A band that I've never bowed to convention, Rammstein, have always done things their own way. And with that in mind, previously I'm sure you guys know that I'm sent out various different promo copies of albums, etc. Rammstein's brand new album was not the case. I was able to be very luckily invited to an exclusive listening party where you were able to listen to the record a number of times in order to review it. So I've got a small vlog section of this video and then I'm going to have the actual review. So make sure you check it out and yeah, this is what happened when I heard Rammstein's brand new album. What's up guys? So as you can see behind me, this is the King's Cross Renaissance Hotel where shortly I will be listening to the brand new Rammstein album. I'm so excited. I'm not really too sure what to kind of... I don't know what to expect really, because obviously there's going to be classic Rammstein sounds, but I'm very excited to be going. I have to surrender my phone, but yeah, I'm really excited to see what Rammstein have got in store for us.
Mein Herz in Flammen will dich lieben und verdammt.
So guys, I've literally just come out of the Rammstein listening party, the Rammstein listening party, and it was incredible. I just wanted to say thank you so much to Universal. Everything they did was really amazing. So I'll hand you back over to me in my familiar living room and I can do the review. Alright. Now, it's been a very long time since Rammstein have released a brand new album, but the band have always lived in this very cinematic atmosphere. Zeig dich, for me, gives Rammstein a real widescreen sound. There are these fantastic use of choirs, and it's incredibly cinematic overall. But then you've got songs the likes of Sex, which wouldn't sit out of place in a classic Rammstein setlist, and revolves around that classic industrial heartbeat that Rammstein have always had, and particularly kind of relies on this blues-oriented guitar riff. And the chorus, of course, is Till Lindemann screaming sex, which you could imagine from a Rammstein song. And Ausländer, for example, reminded me of something that you might hear in a club in Ibiza. But, of course, electronica has always been a very large part of Rammstein's sound. But for me, I felt like on this album, it was very much infiltrating it and not being the main focal point of it. However, then, of course, you've got the sounds of the likes of Radio, where it almost sounds like a Tetris game, particularly at the beginning, and right at the end, it reminded me of, you know, those, like, you died screams. It's also worth mentioning that Till Lindemann's enunciation, I think, on this album is fantastic, and can often lead a sense of pantomime to the record, but always has that main vocalist strong approach. However, this is Rammstein, but not quite as you expected it, and there are some fantastic tracks which really turn everything on its head. For example, Puppe. I thought that was really interesting in the fact that it was an incredibly malevolent sound, but without being over the top, and was actually fairly minimalist. And particularly menacing is the way that the track ends with this very beautiful but also incredibly malevolent piano piece. However, you juxtapose that with Diamant, which showcases this almost softer, more vulnerable side of Rammstein. You know, Rammstein are an impenetrable fortress, and it's nice to see this contrast of Diamant, and the delicate guitar lines almost remind me of kind of like something you'd hear from Tom York, you know, like a Radiohead aesthetic. The song finishes again with another poignant ending, which has not only violin, but from what I could tell, I think it was a flute. Now, of course, Rammstein being such a figurehead in the world of industrial, Was ich liebe was kind of meant to be this fantastic Nine Inch Nails stomping ground piece, and it worked brilliantly within the context of the album. We then moved into Weit Weg, which for me, again, brought this sensibility of this Tron style, almost like Justice, really dirty bass sound that the band have put together, and was slightly different, but of course having the classic Rammstein hallmarks. which is perfectly evident on Tattoo, which is literally Rammstein paint by numbers. And Hallo Man, the album's final track, again leaves you with this head-scratching notion that, you know, if you thought Rammstein were going to go out with a massive bang, it's actually more of a contemplative vibe, and I kind of liked that. I liked the fact that they changed things around and they wanted to do something slightly different. However, with that in mind, I could see that some Rammstein fans may not kind of get that, and they would want this, you know, fantastic big bang, because you have to remember, it's been a long time since we've had a new Rammstein record. However, it's important to note that Rammstein have almost become a prisoner of their own making, with the idea of them being a live band. Of course, they're such a fantastic force to see live, like literally one of my favourite bands ever, but I feel that with this record, the band returned to what a more studio-based and, you know, more creative sound that a band would give, rather than just 11 tracks which would be amazing to see live. And I think it's got a lot of variation on the record, but there are some sections where fans may not necessarily kind of get it, and they wanted a bit more from Rammstein's sound. And looking at the album's artwork, to some the match may feel somewhat contrived, but for me it has that fantastic sense of anticipation, this ominous sense that fire is coming. And obviously fire has been such a huge part of Rammstein's story, and for them to return with this incredibly minimalist yet so powerful approach to the artwork, it represents the album perfectly. So for that reason, I'm going to give the record a 4 out of 5, because there were some fantastic tracks and it's very interesting and an eclectic listen, but I feel that sometimes Rammstein fans might be let down somewhat. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that like and subscribe button. Be sure to check out all my interviews, album reviews, all that good stuff as well. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I will see you next week for another album review. Take care, friends.